The Hashirama Cell Experiment is one of the most infamous and ethically questionable experiments in the shinobi world. It involves extracting and cultivating the cells of the first Hokage, Hashirama Senju, whose DNA possesses unparalleled regenerative and chakra-enhancing properties. These cells grant extraordinary healing abilities, enhanced chakra reserves, and even the potential to wield the legendary wood release. However, the experiment is a gamble with life itself. Most recipients succumb to the overwhelming power as the cells reject their body. The experiment is forbidden because it defies the sanctity of life and disrupts the natural balance of the ninja world. Orochimaru's unethical use of these cells produced Yamato, a rare success story, while Danzo Shimura used the cells to graft multiple Sharingan onto his arm. The process required extensive research and involved human experimentation, with countless subjects dying in the process. Hashirama's cells became the foundation for many dark practices, symbolizing the relentless pursuit of forbidden power at the cost of countless lives. These cells were also sought after for their role in developing artificial abilities, such as Danzo's Izanagi spam during his fight with Sasuke Uchiha. The Cursed Seal is Orochimaru's twisted invention, created through forbidden experiments on Jugo's DNA. By injecting a subject with his special enzyme, Orochimaru could grant them immense power through the Cursed Seal, which acted as a chakra amplifier and transformation trigger. However, the power comes with a steep price. The seal feeds on the user's body and mind, ultimately enslaving them to Orochimaru's will. These experiments are forbidden due to their horrific side effects and the violation of free will. Victims of the Cursed Seal, such as Kimimaro and Sasuke Uchiha, displayed its destructive potential. The transformations caused by the seal are both grotesque and painful, illustrating the lengths Orochimaru would go for control. The experimentation process often included putting subjects through excruciating pain to activate the seal, ensuring only the strongest survived. The Cursed Seal is more than a mark of power. It's a badge of enslavement and despair. Orochimaru's ultimate goal was to create a loyal army of enhanced warriors, but the ethical costs made these experiments one of the darkest stains in shinobi history. The Edot Tensei is one of the most terrifying, forbidden jutsu, but its origins are even darker. Created by Tobirama Senju and later refined by Orochimaru, this technique summons the souls of the dead and binds them to the living world using human sacrifices. The summoned are immortal warriors, retaining all their skills and abilities from life, but under complete control of the summoner. The process to perfect Edot Tensei involved countless human sacrifices and desecration of graves. Orochimaru took this already horrifying technique and made it a tool of absolute domination, while Kabuto Yakushi used it to create an undead army during the Fourth Great Ninja War. Each iteration of Edot Tensei became more advanced, allowing for tighter control and even upgrades to the reanimated shinobi's abilities. This jutsu was considered unforgivable by even the most ruthless shinobi due to its violation of the dead's rest. Edot Tensei's forbidden status is justified, as it disregards the natural cycle of life and death, turning the dead into pawns for the living. The psychological toll on both the reanimated individuals and their opponents further cemented this jutsu as a horrifying reminder of the cost of forbidden knowledge. Danzo Shimura's obsession with power led him to the horrific act of harvesting Sharingan eyes from fallen Uchiha clan members after the clan's massacre. These eyes were implanted into his right arm alongside Hashirama's cells to sustain their power. The result was a grotesque patchwork of stolen abilities that allowed Danzo to use Izanagi multiple times during battle. The implantation process was both gruesome and unethical, requiring extensive surgeries performed by Orochimaru. The Sharingan embedded into Danzo's arm granted him access to abilities far beyond normal shinobi, but it also symbolized the exploitation of the Uchiha clan's tragedy for personal gain. The addition of Hashirama's cells to stabilize the Sharingan amplified the grotesque nature of his experiment. This forbidden experiment represents the pinnacle of Danzo's moral corruption. The abuse of the Uchiha tragedy for personal gain, combined with his reliance on unethical experimentation, highlights the dangers of unchecked ambition. Danzo's arm, a literal weapon of stolen power, serves as a grim reminder of the atrocities committed in the name of the shinobi world's greater good. Before we continue with the video, I want to ask for your help. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs, so I'd really appreciate if you would like to subscribe and help me out. Shin Uchiha's obsession with the Uchiha legacy drove him to pursue cloning experiments that defied all moral boundaries. Utilizing his unique genetic makeup, Shin created an army of clones that shared his DNA, each designed to act as a perfect extension of his will. These clones were conditioned to uphold Shin's distorted vision of the Uchiha clan's supremacy, effectively stripping them of individuality and turning them into tools for his domination. Shin's experimentation did not stop with cloning. He implanted numerous Sharingan eyes into his own body, including non-traditional areas such as his arms and forehead, creating a grotesque appearance and enhancing his combat abilities. These Sharingan gave him unparalleled precision in battle, allowing him to control weapons telekinetically with a mere glance. This innovation, while effective, further underscored his disregard for the sanctity of life and the ethical limits of science. The clones, bred in artificial environments and subjected to Shin's ideals, lacked any sense of self or freedom. They existed solely to serve his ambitions, with no regard for their well-being. This grotesque manipulation of life not only highlights Shin's scientific prowess, but also the horrifying consequences of his unchecked hubris. His confrontation with Naruto and Sasuke ultimately exposed the flaws in his ideology. Despite the clones' loyalty, their dependence on Shin made them vulnerable, and his empire of genetic manipulation crumbled under the weight of its own cruelty. The ethical violations and psychological torment inflicted upon the clones make Shin's cloning experiments one of the darkest chapters in ninja history. The revival and manipulation of the Ten Tails is one of the most apocalyptic forbidden experiments in ninja history. Madara and Obito Uchiha sought to resurrect the beast by combining the chakra of all 9-tailed beasts and using the Gedo statue as its vessel. This experiment aimed to create an unstoppable force and fulfill the dream of the infinite Tsukuyomi, enslaving all of humanity in an eternal genjutsu. The forbidden nature of this experiment lies in its catastrophic consequences. The Ten Tails' power is unparalleled, capable of reshaping the world and annihilating entire nations. The cost of reviving the beast included capturing and torturing the tailed beasts, stripping them of their freedom and individuality. The process also required intricate sealing techniques, sacrifices, and an almost fanatical dedication to an ideology of peace through control. The infinite Tsukuyomi itself represents the ultimate violation of free will, turning every living being into a mindless puppet under the caster's control. Both Madara and Kaguya demonstrated the horrifying power of this experiment, leaving a legacy of fear and destruction. The sheer scale of devastation possible with the Ten Tails makes this one of the most dangerous and ethically reprehensible experiments in shinobi history. The Tenseigan is a divine dojutsu achieved by merging the Byakugan of the Hyuga clan with Otsutsuki chakra. Achieving this power requires tampering with the genetic code of both clans, resulting in abilities that rival the gods. The Tenseigan grants its wielder immense chakra reserves, gravitational manipulation, and the ability to launch massive chakra blasts capable of planetary destruction. Additionally, it can create an energy vessel, a powerful source of chakra that sustains its user for prolonged battles. This experiment is forbidden because of its immense destructive potential and the ethical violations in its creation. The genetic tampering required to awaken the Tenseigan often leads to catastrophic results, including instability in the user's body. Toneri Otsutsuki's attempt to wield this power in the last, Naruto the movie demonstrated its terrifying potential. His ability to move the moon and nearly destroy Earth underscored the devastating consequences of tampering with such divine abilities. The Tenseigan represents a pursuit of godlike power at the cost of moral and physical stability, making it a forbidden path fraught with danger. For centuries, shinobi sought to exploit tailed beasts for their chakra. From sealing them into jinchuriki to extracting their energy, these practices have caused unimaginable suffering for the bijou. The process of forcibly capturing a tailed beast often involved violent battles, resulting in collateral damage and the loss of countless lives. Once captured, these sentient beings were sealed into jinchuriki, who were often ostracized and treated as tools rather than people. Organizations like the Akatsuki took this a step further by using the Gedo statue to extract and imprison the tailed beasts for their plans. This extraction process caused immense pain and ultimately killed the jinchuriki, highlighting the callous disregard for life. The Akatsuki's goal of reviving the Ten-Tails required stripping the bijou of their freedom and individuality, reducing them to mere components of a larger weapon. These experiments are forbidden due to their blatant disregard for the bijou's autonomy and the devastating consequences of their misuse. The manipulation of these sentient beings not only endangered their lives, but also led to wars and devastation across the shinobi world. Kurama's relationship with Naruto demonstrated that the tailed beasts were not mere weapons, but living creatures with emotions and desires. The abuse of these beings remains a symbol of humanity's greed and cruelty, a cautionary tale of the consequences of exploiting power without regard for its moral implications. The creation of cursed puppets is a gruesome blend of ninjutsu and mechanical engineering. By infusing human bodies or spirits into puppets, shinobi like Sasori crafted weapons that were both horrifying and nearly indestructible. These puppets often retained the chakra of their original bodies, making them formidable in battle. Some, like the third Kazekage puppet, could even harness the abilities of their former selves, including unique jutsu and Kekkei Genkai. The process of creating cursed puppets is as grotesque as it is unethical. It involves desecrating the deceased, modifying their bodies with mechanical parts, and binding their chakra to serve the puppeteer's will. The line between life and artificiality becomes horrifyingly blurred, reducing once living individuals to mere tools of destruction. Sasori's experiments not only robbed his victims of their dignity, but also showcased his twisted view of eternal art, preserving the beauty of his puppets at the cost of their humanity. These experiments are forbidden due to their complete disregard for the sanctity of life and the traumatic psychological effects they inflict on both the puppet's victims and their opponents. Sasori's ultimate demise at the hands of Sakura and Chiyo revealed the tragic depth of his madness, but his legacy remains a chilling example of how far a shinobi can fall when ethics are abandoned. Orochimaru's quest for immortality and power drove him to perform countless genetic experiments that violated every ethical boundary in the shinobi world. His research spanned decades and involved splicing DNA from various sources, including the first Hokage, Jugo, and even tailed beasts, into his test subjects. Orochimaru's ultimate goal was to create the perfect body that could sustain his consciousness indefinitely, allowing him to cheat death and achieve godlike power. One of Orochimaru's most infamous successes was Yamato, a rare subject who survived the implantation of Hashirama's DNA and gained the ability to use wood release. However, Yamato's survival was an anomaly. Countless other subjects perished in agonizing ways as their bodies rejected the foreign DNA. Orochimaru also conducted experiments on himself, incorporating snake-like traits to enhance his durability and regenerative abilities, further blurring the line between human and monster. The forbidden nature of these experiments stems from their high mortality rate and their complete disregard for the lives of the subjects. Orochimaru's laboratory was a site of unimaginable horror, filled with failed experiments, discarded bodies, and twisted creations. His willingness to sacrifice anyone, friend, foe, or subordinate, in the name of progress, underscores the dangers of unchecked ambition. Despite his later redemption arc, Orochimaru's genetic experiments remain a dark stain on the history of the shinobi world, a chilling reminder of the cost of pursuing power at any price. And that's it for our breakdown of the most forbidden and dangerous experiments in the Naruto universe. Which one do you think is the most terrifying or unethical? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more deep dives into the shinobi world.